you're going through this experience where, you doubted your abilities. You felt a little softer, weaker. You didn't know if you can do this, but then you do it and you exceed expectations. And now you're confident in yourself. Not even just like everyone else is confident of you, your family and friends, things like that. No, yourself. That's the best thing. Self-confidence is everything. What up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the From Boys to Men show, brought to you by the Squire Program. I'm your host, Slayton Cook. Today, we're going to give the haters a little airtime today because it doesn't happen as often as our men's program, The Project. Like, The Project gets a lot of, negative feedback or negative comments or negative engagement, whatever. I don't know if it's considered negative engagement. All engagement is good, so shout out to you guys. But the Squire Program gets a little bit of it, and they'll ask questions like, why would anyone pay to do this? Like, why would anyone pay to go to a program where you're just going to get yelled at by the instructors, or you're going to crawl in the mud? I can crawl in the mud for free, right? This is poor leadership. Another person said, what's the benefit of this? Who would ever do something stupid like this? And my favorite of all, especially when it comes to Squire, is just join the military. Dude, why didn't we ever think about that? Like, a 14, 15-year-old, why don't we just tell them to join the military? Like, that's old enough, right? Like, we could just, send them over to the Navy, the Army, whatever. Yeah, for sure. They're old enough, 13 years old, for sure. That makes perfect sense. So anyways, I want to talk about why you should do the Squire Program if you're, the age, of course, or if you have a son that's the age, or in general, why you should do difficult things like this. Because what many people fail to realize is that the people that come out to this program, they're not just coming out to do something difficult. Like, this is actually the beginning to a better relationship with their son, or for the son, it's a beginning to a better relationship with their dad. It's, actually, man, thinking about that, as I said it right now, like, I wish that I could go back and do that with my dad. Like, if you guys, have been following the show, then you know my story. But if you haven't, if you're new here, my dad was incarcerated. He was in prison for my entire life. Like, he got arrested when I was a baby, 10 months old to be exact. He came home in 2020. I was 24 years old. Already been married for a couple of years at that time. Had my first daughter. She was just born. So I was a whole ass man. It wasn't like he came back to like a teenager. We can go to the park and we could play catch. You can teach me how to throw a football or, whatever. It's kind of like, it's different, man. Now I'm my own man. I'm a dad myself now. And so I wish that I could go back and do something like the Squire Program, like with my dad. Like, that would be crazy. That'd be so awesome. And I almost envy some of these boys to be able to, they can do that with their dad. I see myself in them sometimes where they get to enjoy something like this with their dad. So I think people are a little bit short-sighted of why you think you should do a program like this. So I'm going to break it down for you guys. Number one is something called the hero's journey. Generally, the hero's story goes as follows. There's a person that's going through something. There's a dilemma. They're struggling about something, and they need to tackle a huge accomplishment. They need to take out a bad guy. They need to, save somebody, whether it's a female, or they need to do something, save the city, whatever. But the person that they are now is not going to be able to accomplish that, right? They're not going to be able to save the woman. They're not going to be able to save the city. They're not going to be able to accomplish whatever that thing is or tackle that mountain. And so they have to go on what's called a hero's journey. They have to go through a process of, a series of events, a series of challenges, putting themselves through things that they've never been through before. They have to be stretched. They have to be pulled. They have to be forged into being the person that can actually take care of that kind of accomplishment or that kind of challenge, right? So this is kind of like their hero's journey. This is the beginning. This is not everything. The Squire Program is just the tip of the iceberg, but it is the hero's journey in the sense of a lot of these parents are these father and son duos are traveling from all over the country, right? Where our home base is in California. So they might be coming from the East Coast. They might be coming from Florida. They might be coming from, Pennsylvania. They might be coming from wherever, right? Coming to our location in California or whatever location is neighboring them and is the closest. And so they literally have to get on a plane to fly over to this challenge. And so they get on this plane being one person. They come over, they go through the Squire Program, they endure the pain, the ice bath, the getting dirty, the cuts and bruises and everything from just being rough all day for 12 hours straight. Then when they come back home, they're different people. Like, they get to literally get on the plane and talk about, like, with their dad or whoever they traveled with about all the cool stuff they did, right? So a lot of it has to do with the hero's journey, man. It's not just about coming out to do something difficult. It's about the journey, the trek to go over somewhere, to do something difficult and challenging, learn about yourself, and then you get to fly back a different person. So that's major. Number two, rite of passage experience. Like, this is another big thing of why I think someone should do the Squire program, because there's not really anything that's like a rite of passage nowadays. Maybe there's some people that still carry out their traditions, culturally, of how they, one day you turn this age, or one day you're exhibiting certain behaviors or features, and okay, I think he's ready to take this test and he become a man, right? But for the most part, we don't have that, especially in America. We don't have that, like, where there's something that happens to you where you're like, okay, I think he's ready to test his seat at the table of manhood, right? It doesn't really happen like that. In the past, they'd have things like, we see on the movie 300, where they'd send their boy out to the woods and they just leave him out there. And if he came back in the morning time, meaning he survived the weather, the animals trying to kill him, he was able to survive just through the chaos of the night. If he made it back, he was worthy of being trained to become, a warrior, a man, a savage, a gangster, like someone who's respected in the community and the tribe. And we don't really have that anymore, right? I get it, like why we wouldn't do something like that anymore. But still, we don't even have like the modern version of that. So the Squire program is that. The Squire program is a rite of passage experience where you get to come as somebody who is maybe a little bit softer, weaker, maybe who thinks this is corny or not cool, or, wow, an ice bath, why would I want to do that? Like, like somebody, like, you might not even think you can do it. Like, you see the videos on online and you're like, yeah, it's cold, but I can do that. But then you get here and then it's gloomy that day, because everyone thinks sunny California is always sunny California. It's not, especially these earlier months in the year, January, February, March. We get rain, we get gloomy just like everybody else. And so you're going to be still doing the ice bath during that weather. Can you still do it then? These guys come and it's overcast and cold outside. We're pouring all the ice in there and they're looking at us pouring in. Actually, they're pouring the ice in themselves in the ice baths. And you can tell the look on their face is kind of like, I don't know if I can do this, right? There's doubt. And so you're going through this experience where you were a little bit, you doubted your abilities. You felt a little softer, weaker. You didn't know if you can do this, but then you do it and you exceed expectations. And now you're confident in yourself, not even just like, everyone else is confident of you, your family and friends, things like that. No, yourself. That's the best thing. Self-confidence is everything. So that's what this is about, a rite of passage experience where we can put these young men through it to where they can come in one way and then the other side of the tunnel another way, standing up straight, head up tall, shoulders rolled back, chest out, and they're just confident. They're excited about life. So it's major, man. I get excited even talking about that. Number 3, they get to challenge yourself. Number 3 of why I think that people should do the Squire program is they get to challenge themselves and put them through something they've never been through before. Especially because most kids their age, they're coming through like between the 12 and 16 age group. A lot of their friends are just playing video games, man. They're at home. Like, they're like, wait, you're going where with your dad to do what? Like, hold on. There's an Instagram page. What's it called? They're looking it up. Bro, you're about to be doing that bald guy just yelling at you the whole time. Like, you're going to call and get dirty. You're going to go in this ice bath. Like, why? Like, why don't you let's just go play Call of Duty, bro? Like, what? Like, let's go play Fortnite, whatever. Like, they don't get it. And so for them, they don't understand, but they're going to go on this mission with their dad, have a good time, create a bunch of memories that they'll never forget. Right. And then they get to come back a different person. Right. And maybe they still go back and play video games with their boys every once in a while, but maybe they don't. Maybe they come back and they learn something new about themselves they didn't know before, with like, I don't really need to do that. I want to go out and be more physical. I want to be rough. I want to learn how to fight. I want to learn how to, conquer and that kind of thing. Right. So it's about challenging yourself. But I think even bigger than that, which is number 4, is it's not only about challenging yourself, but it's who you become in the process, man. Who you become in the process is major. It's everything. That's the sauce right there. It's not about the challenge itself. It's about who you become. For dads, it's becoming a better father, better husband, better leader, etc. For sons, it's about becoming a stronger man, building confidence, and really just finding out where you stand in life. Like, that's everything. You're getting that through the exposure of these difficult things. Like, that's all it is. It's not just coming out here to get your ass kicked just because. It's about who you become while you're getting your ass kicked. Like, that's the sauce right there, man. That's everything. So, man, and the last thing, which is kind of a bonus thing, is I love the emails and letters we get after the Squire program. This is another reason why I believe people should come. It's because one father and son duo that comes to mind right now specifically is, I can't remember the names, but they're at the last class and they're heavy set father and son, right? They're overweight. And they were constantly reminded of that because every evolution they were last. On the hike, they were last. On the ruck, they were last. Everything that was like, climbing or anything physical, they were last, right? And they were constantly reminded of that because they were, it was shown to them. Everyone else was like, zoom, passing them by, flying by, whatever. And I got the chance to interview them afterwards. I said, hey, what was your experience today, guys? Like, did you enjoy it? They said, yeah, we did. The dad spoke up. He said, he took the microphone. He said, but we're going to come back and first of all, we're going to lose a ton of weight throughout this year. We're going to come back to a class a year from now and we're going to crush it. I'm not saying we're going to come first in everything, but we're going to for damn sure lose a ton of weight. And we're going to come back and we're going to be more disciplined, more motivated, more focused, and we're going to smoke this freaking program as a father and son. I thought that was beautiful, man. The fact that the Squire program going through these challenges allowed them to see where they're at, see who they are, and then say, okay, cool. I'm not happy about this. I know I can do better. I want to be a better example to my son. I'm sure the son didn't like feeling like that either. Like he was last. No boy likes feeling like he's the last in the group. No one wants to be last picked on the team. So he got to see where he sat and understand, okay, I need to change some things, make some adjustments. What better person to do that with or take on that challenge with your own dad, bro, your old man. Now you guys both get to look at each other. Okay, we're going to hold each other accountable. We're going to do this together, right? It's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing. And so I really believe, man, that a lot more people need to do something like the Squire program, whether it's with our program or not. That's up to you. If there's something else out there similar to it, go for it. Or if you just want to do it on your own, you want to challenge yourself, you want to do a jiu-jitsu challenge with your boys or teach them how to box or, start lifting weights together or start running or whatever it is, go for it. But do something. Like that's what it's all about. It's about putting yourself through a challenge, this hero's journey, right? And who you become on that journey. That's what it's all about, man. So I encourage you guys to continue to challenge yourself and to continue to make things more difficult, right? As Babe Joseph and Bryce and a lot of people say, like, take the stairs instead of the escalator, right? In life, in business, and everything. So anyways, guys, I appreciate you guys for watching all the way through. I'll see you guys next time.